Hi everyone, I'm Mike from Hobbit, and in magazine 12 we're painting up Gandalf. Let's get him open, undercoated and ready for painting. I want to create an interesting grey for Gandalf. To do that, we mix up our own black using all three primary colours and finally adding some white. A mix of primaries looks more interesting than using a black pigment and also allows you to lean to one side of the colour spectrum. In my case, I want to lean into the blues. It's often difficult to see what colour a dark mix is. Adding a little bit of white quickly brings out the actual colour and you can adjust from there. Once happy, let's paint that all over Gandalf's cloak. If you're wondering where his other arm is, I left it off for easier access. Plus, I wanted to try something new with the sword. We'll see if that worked at the end of the video. There's lots of details ingrained in the sculpt. Let's add that Null Oil magic to bring out the depth. I decided to use dry brushing as there's a lot of sculpted detail that should get picked up nicely by dry brushing. I'm using army painter dry brushes. Just add some of the mixed greys and dab most of the paint off onto a dry towel, then gently brush on the model. Slowly building up in brightness until you are happy with the contrast between the high points and the recesses. For the skin, I'm using the Games Workshop Triad. I'm also breaking open my fancy Artis Opus brushes. After the first layer of Bugman's Glow, apply a wash of Reichland Flesh Shade and then move up through another layer of Bugman's, Cadian Flesh Tone and Kislev Flesh, hitting smaller areas each time onto the high points of the face. For the beard, let's give it a base coat of off-white. Don't forget those eyebrows. This looks very white here and reminded me of someone. Then it came to me, he looks just like the Games Master from Hero Quest. Apply some Null Oil to the beard, which I forgot to press record on, so sorry. For the browns I use the same three primaries we use for black, but mix up an orange with yellow and red first, then add smaller and smaller amounts of blue at a time until you get the brown you like. We apply this brown to the staff, belt and bag. For the scabbard and the leather that hold it, I apply a thin layer of pure phthalo blue-green shade, which keeps the highlights visible but changes the colour. I apply some Agrax Earthshade to the staff, and a very light dry brushing of a lighter grey to the beard. I paint the same light shade onto the crystal in the staff, which I also apply a thin wash of blue onto. And to finish off, a few highlights to the staff. Now let's attach his arm. One thing I looked at when painting the sword was, well, it's metal already, can I just leave it unpainted? But it's quite rough when it's first cast. So I sanded down with some high grit sandpaper until parts of it gave a mirror shine. I'm still not sure whether painted versus unpainted, but I think it adds a little something different. What are your thoughts? For the base I wanted a Moria look. I added texture paste, painted it black and added a little highlight and some dry pigments. That's it, Gandalf's finished. Thank you as always to my patrons for your continued support, Please support the channel with a like, comment or a subscribe. Until next time, happy painting.